Hey everyone, I just wanted to shoot a quick video to update you on some of the things, some of the actions that we're going to take in light of this coronavirus. First things first, we are not going to meet tomorrow night as scheduled. Just wanting to exercise wisdom in the social, in the push for the social distancing, and knowing that if we had a neutral meeting space, I would be all for meeting and just bringing a bunch of Purell and Lysoling everything down heavily. But the fact that all of you would come to my house, have to take in mind Maisie and Michelle, and so in light of that, we're just going to cancel for tomorrow night. And as much as I don't want to do that, we just need to make that call. But we will plan in 2 weeks on meeting. I'm gonna hope to find a neutral meeting space where we can meet together. Hopefully that'll be able to happen. And so that's number one. Not meeting tomorrow, but wanting to find ways that we can still be unified in spite of not being able to be together. And so first thing I would love to do is just encourage you to ask yourself and reflect and be honest with yourself and ask yourself the question: are you making much of Jesus with your life right now? As other people are examining your life, especially in the midst of kind of a crisis like this, is your life one that makes much of Jesus? How would they answer that question? And if you're uncertain or just wondering how they would answer that question, or doubtful how they would answer that question, is Marshall really someone who is making much of Jesus? If you're fearful of that, I want to make sure that these next 2 weeks specifically is a sprint where you and I are really advancing the kingdom of God forward, and despite not being able to meet together, that we're not retreating, but we really are advancing. And so a couple ways that we want to do that is first of all, I'd love for you to join me in setting an alarm every single day at 12 p.m. at noon. And when this alarm goes off, we're going to pray together. We're going to pray. Perhaps your phone allows you to label the alarms and just label it "Pray Together." And what we're going to pray for is we're going to pray for our country. We're going to pray for the people who are affected by this coronavirus. We're going to pray for our economy, for the schools that are being shut down, for the children who are just going without lunches because they're dependent upon the school system for breakfast and lunch, for business owners as restaurants and bars are being forced to shut down and not. And so we just want to pray. We want to be a people that pray whenever trouble comes, whenever trials come. We want that should be our first instinct, our first reflex is to pray. And so when that alarm goes off, we want to pray together. I want you to pray for yourself. Say, God, help me live a life right now that makes much of Jesus. That in these next 2 weeks, especially, whenever people see the way that I'm responding, whenever they see the way that I'm interacting with people, that I'm not reacting out of fear, but I'm reacting out of faith, that I am someone who is making much of Jesus with my life. And I want you to pray for Rubber City Church that the message of Jesus will continue to get out, and be praying for that God would show us favor, and be praying for the people that's on your list, people that you want to see come to know Jesus, people that you know are a part of your mission field, that God is sending you, and God is wanting to bring the message of Jesus into their lives. So be praying for them, and be praying for our worship service. That's our first worship night. That's going to be coming up on April 19th. As of right now, that's still a go. And we'll reevaluate if social distancing is really still a thing in 5 weeks, whenever we're supposed to be having that service. So just be praying for Rubber City Church. Be praying for the people in your life that you want to see to come to Jesus, that you want to invite to that. And lastly, whenever that 12 o'clock alarm sounds, there's there's a Bible reading plan on the YouVersion Bible app that I would love to go together. This should take no more than 5 minutes. It's just a short devotional, gives you a verse or two, and then kind of a prompt question to pray through and ponder through. And so if you just type into the search bar of your YouVersion Bible app, if you just type in RC Sproul, there's a devotional called "Developing a Godly Lifestyle," and in the midst of crisis, we need to live godly lifestyles, and so just want to encourage you with that. I think that'll be great. And the purpose of some of this is hopefully noon. You're not in meetings where you can do this, but the hope is that someone will see your phone go off, will hear that alarm go off, and see that that label that says "Pray Together," and it'll spark a conversation that will help you make much of Jesus. And you can just respond by saying, "Yeah, my church, we're just wanting to come together and unify together and pray together. I know that everyone else is praying at this exact moment. We're praying for our country. We're praying for our schools. We're praying for our governor. We're praying for ourselves that we will be emboldened, that we're not going to be cowards and live and be shaken by fear, but we're going to trust and have faith in Jesus, and that this will be the church's finest hour." So the purpose of this is to spark some conversation, and so yeah, I got so much love for you guys. I hope and I pray that these next 2 weeks will that you won't live in fear, but you'll live in faith. And that if God isn't sovereign, if Jesus isn't king, then everything's purposeless. But because He is sovereign and He is king, that nothing comes to pass without Him being in control. And so with that, we know that He's up to something. We don't know what it is, but He's going to bring Himself glory through it. And so may we be good agents, good stewards, and faithful people. So I love you. If you have any ways that we can bless people throughout this time, contact me, and we'll brainstorm ways that Rubber City Church can be good news to our community. So love you guys, praying for you, and hope to talk to you soon.